Today's video involves hot water on a Pyrex dish. What'll be cooking up? Hey, what's going on? I'm Bryon Summers, photographer and content creator, and welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, take a second, hit that subscribe button, run up the likes, because if we get this video to 100 likes and you join the Discord server, I think I'm going to do a giveaway. But before we get to that part, this video is a tutorial slash walkthrough, and if you don't know what a Polaroid lift is, stick around and I'll see you in a few seconds. This channel is supported by sumsbrand.com. We love the likes, but the merch helps to keep the content coming. Visit Sumsbrand for original art, graphic tees, and more. And use the code SUMS for 10% off. Polaroids are the instant photo that come in the iconic frame. But what if that frame wasn't big enough? What if you wanted to get that picture out of the box? Today we're looking for a good photo to make a Polaroid emulsion lift. To do that, we're going to deconstruct a Polaroid photo by separating the image from the frame and then transferring it to a larger surface. But first, we have to find the right image. There are a handful of emulsion lift videos out there, and since I've been racking up on Polaroids, I figured this might be a cool experiment to try for anyone thinking outside the box, or in this case, the frame. So what is emulsion? Well, photographic emulsions are light-sensitive coatings on film made up of grains of micron-sized silver halide or bromide crystals suspended in a gelatin. When you expose the photosensitive crystals to light, they undergo a chemical change that allows images to appear on bases. A Polaroid is made up of several layers, including the frame, a mask, positive sheet, and the negative backing. But in between the positive and negative sheets is where the magic happens. Once the photo has been developed, underneath a clear plastic sheet and thin layer of acid polymer that acts as an adhesive is the image receiving area. This is where the actual image is and where we're going to delicately remove it from. The materials needed will be paper, preferably watercolor paper, or a thick stock that will take being submerged in water. Watercolor paper has a nice texture that, when dry, will hold the transfer well. Scissors, an X-Acto knife or a sharp blade to cut the Polaroid frame, paint brushes with soft bristles, tweezers, a flat dish large enough to hold the paper, water, preferably hot water, and paper towels. Until today, I've only successfully tried this once, and since then learned that the transferred photo can stretch. So you'll need a surface larger than the actual Polaroid to transfer it to. Also, since the shape of the transfer can vary, you'll want to consider the subject of the photo, the texture, or even the colors. These factors might contribute to making an image you like one that you love. The process takes about 30 minutes plus dry time, and since each image is a one-on-one, it's probably best to do a practice run through on a throwaway image or one that you just don't care that much about. Alright, we have our images. That's right, I couldn't just choose one. I took these shots less than 24 hours before trying this lift. Spoiler alert, they came out way better than the first two attempts. I'll drop the other attempts, including the whole process, in the Discord, so you can go ahead and join that server, and of course you can share your Polaroid lifts there as well. I chose to use the scissors because they were the cleanest blades that I had. My X-Acto knife and my box cutter were pretty rusty, but this is still precise to use your X-Acto knife. Once you get the borders off, you're just left with a square. So here I'm using the X-Acto knife to put a little space, to just give me a little space so I can then go ahead and peel the negative from the positive. Using the scissors helps you get right to the square, cutting the photo right down. But when you do this, you don't leave yourself any room to actually crack the image open. So the X-Acto knife might come in handy here to just find a little pocket so that you can start to peel the positive from the negative. Okay, let me go ahead and move these out the way. Set down my dish. And I'm going to pour in the water now, and this water is hot. As you can see, the steam coming off. I found that hot water helps make the image separate faster and better. Water, just any water period, will help you separate the emulsion, but hot water can help you do it faster. I like to put my images face down in the water so that I can take the emulsion off because the front part of it is the clear sheet. So I want to get right to the emulsion layer. I found that making gentle waves beside the actual Polaroid will help push that emulsion off. You want to get like little pockets removed from the plastic sheet and then just continue to push water under there, and that'll help you to pull it off the plastic sheet layer. I'm just using my X-Acto knife or my tweezers to hold down the plastic sheet so I can then just push around the water. I learned from a few other attempts that this is where you want to be the most delicate. If you mess up on the edges, if you tear any of the edges and you don't get a smooth separation, it might mess up the rest of the image. But just like peeling a sticker back or a price label back on a new item that you just bought, you got to be very delicate on the corners, and then the rest should be easy from there. Alright, as you can see, we started with the image face down, but as I'm removing the emulsion layer, I'm pushing it up and you're starting to see the front part. So the actual side that we're going to see when we're done with the actual photo. Alright, so now that that's removed from the plastic layer, I'm going to go ahead and get that plastic layer out of the water. Depending on how well you deconstructed your photo, you might have cloudy white water when you're done with this process. So it's not a bad idea to get a clean dish of water and continue the process. I didn't think this water was dirty enough to change, so I just kept going with it. Alright, right here is the submersion process. This is where you want to make sure you have some sturdy paper. You can start to gently submerge it underwater. There are other techniques that you could use if you want to wet the paper first, just to get it prepared to get in the water. But as you slowly submerge it in there, take your time. If you go too fast, you might disturb the lift. So just take your time. Channel your inner Bob Ross and just use gentle strokes, happy strokes. You want to be gentle all the way through this process. Even when you see the light at the end of the tunnel with removing the Polaroid off the plastic frame, still go gentle because you don't want that last minute rip. The texture of the emulsion at this point feels like a layer of latex paint that just got wet. So it's easy to mess up, or it's easy to get twisted around. Don't get discouraged if you're removing your emulsion from the plastic frame and it gets twisted up. Gently pushing the water around might actually help you untangle it. Also, the tweezers might help. Just remember, be very gentle, don't force it. The water is your friend, and when you go to put it on the surface that you're transferring it to, whether it's paper or something else, you can also just add water to it and it should straighten out. Sometimes it doesn't. And you want to have a place in mind, a target point in this transferred surface where you want the image to go. You could also just go with the flow. If you don't want to frustrate yourself too much, this is my first lift that I did with 2 images, so I was just happy to have 2 successful images lifted. I wanted to overlap them so that it looks like it's 2 images, or at least the money touches and overlaps. That might be a good technique to have the paper in and out of the water, splash some water up on it. As you can see, I'm putting my thumb on the corner of the Polaroid at certain points just so it doesn't move. I actually used a spray bottle to remove the photo from this plastic sheet, and it worked pretty well. You can adjust your nozzle to be a mist or a steady stream. Again, water is your friend. Now here, we're at the end. I have the images where I really want them to be, and I wanted to dry it out, but you don't necessarily have to do this part. I had a roller from a printmaking class I took a long time ago, and I used it to just squeeze out some of the water. So you can do that. You can squeeze water out with the roller. One mistake that I made was trying to pat this dry, and I actually got paper towel on top of one of my attempts, and it pulled a little bit off. And this is where I really noticed that there was an acid polymer layer, because I was trying to remove that. It looked like slime on the paper. I tried to remove that with some paper towels. and I did like a little light blotch. I should have known better, but it pulled up pieces of the actual Polaroid. So pro tip, don't pat dry your work. And after it's dry, if your paper seems a little warped, you can always set it between two heavy sheets. Maybe try to press it out if you want to once it's dry. The next thing I'm going to do is put this in a frame, because that's the best way that I know how to protect it right now. I'm curious to see how a matte medium or a varnish might do on this, and I also wouldn't mind adding some more Polaroids to this, if not some type of drawing or other medium to it. Might be interesting. Making this video, I attempted 3 Polaroid lifts, technically 4 if you count the last one with the double. This was the first one. So this image is actually the view of the financial district in New York City from Brooklyn. One World Trade, I think, is still able to be made out in this image, but as you can see, all of this and all of this down here is not there. And it's not there because I wasn't gentle with taking the edges off. This is the image that I used paper towels to blot dry like an idiot. And as you can see, the spaces in between, those were pulled off when the paper towel hit the surface. And this was the second attempt. I really hope this one came out great, because it was a neon shot of some stairs, and the lines on the stairs just look pretty cool. But as you can see, this looks like Italy or something. This one is actually starting to peel off of the paper, so that's why I was curious about doing something with a protectant or a sealant or just a frame. And the cool thing about these is it's enough surface that I can actually cut this down and make it a smaller surface if I want. But these are just some cool watercolor surfaces that we used. And of course, this was the successful attempt with the money. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and hit that bell for alerts on more videos like this. Don't forget to join the Discord to share your images. We're going to be having a few contests in there. If we get this video to 100 likes and you join the Discord server, we'll do a giveaway. We'll give away some Polaroid film. Run up the likes, join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.